Welcome back to the channel, everyone. The Detroit Pistons have won a basketball game. I can't swear, but let's go. That was, oh, it's been about 4 hours since the game, and I'm still so hyped. And it's like, we're going to talk about a few of the reasons why the Pistons won tonight and why there's so many reasons to feel good about that. But I think just for them to get the first win takes so much pressure off. And I think it didn't matter who they were playing tonight. Like, obviously, Philadelphia were missing their two best players, or, well, two of their three best players. They're missing an MVP, and I think Paul George and Tyrese Maxey are, both around the same mark in terms of production at this stage in their career, but they're missing two of their three best players. And so the Pistons beat a depleted 76ers team, some might say, but to me, they didn't just defeat them, they did what they were meant to do. They were up by as many as 20 points in this game, and it finished 95 to 105 in favor of your Pistons. But yeah, in that fourth quarter, it was out to 21, and for much of that third quarter, it was around double digits. And apart from a really kind of poor start, I think the first quarter was pretty frustrating. The Pistons led this game from pretty much the start of the second quarter the whole way till the end. So, yes, they played a bit of an easier Philly outfit, but they haven't won in Philadelphia since 2017. That's their first win in 7 years in Philadelphia. And I know Philly have pretty much been a playoff team for all those seasons, but this is still a huge win. And like, just to get that first win, to get JB Bickerstaff's first win, to get Cade and Jaden's first win where they're both playing like this together, I think is huge for the chemistry, for the momentum of this team. And to me, it just kind of signals the end, like all of the demons from last season with all the losing, and all the bad vibes from last year. I feel like we can finally put them to, not fully put them to rest, but that can be out of our mind now. Because I know for myself and a lot of Pistons fans, the first four games of the season, there was some really encouraging things to like. But until they got this win, it was really hard to shake the feeling that it's the same old Pistons, in the sense of they're just going to lose to teams that are worse than them. They're going to put up a fight against teams that are better than them but lose. And they have still so much to prove. But I think what we saw tonight, this Pistons team is going to really benefit. And there's a heap of storylines. We're going to get to them. But I just can't emphasize enough how much I think this win will help this team and give them the confidence, because we have seen them have really good stretches in their first four games. They almost beat the Boston Celtics. They almost beat the Pacers. The Cavs, who are now 5-0, they put up a decent fight against the Cavs in Cleveland, might I add. And who else? Miami. Miami, I think, going to be at least a playing team, probably playoff team. And they took it right up to Miami and should have won that game. So I think now the good things we saw in those four games, we can now validate them as real things because they have a win. Like, it just validates that stuff. Whereas before this win, it was like, well, how much of this is just, cheap moral victory stuff that doesn't really translate, whatever. I feel like one thing we can take from this game is that the good stuff we saw against those other really good, talented Eastern Conference teams is now validated. This team is going to be a team, I think, that puts it and takes it right up to the best teams in the league on any given night. I don't think the Pistons are going to be the Pistons of last year that get belted by 20 to 30 points anytime they leave Little Caesars Arena. I think they are a much more sound, consistent team, even with the flaws they have. And I think Pistons fans should be really, I think like tonight was just as a game that put a smile on your face. Like, that whole second half, I know I'm going to go back and watch it, but there was so much to like in there, whether it was Cade doing his thing in the third, Ivey just completely taking over there for like an 8-minute stretch, dunks, steals, playing some exceptional defense. Like, there's so much to like. I would go back and watch it. It was a heap of fun. Now, Just getting to some of the things, this main storylines and positives from tonight. I think you have to start with Jaden Ivey. I thought he was the Pistons' best player, particularly in the second half. He finished with 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and I think he shot over 50% from the field again, made a few threes, but it goes beyond the box score. Like his tenacity, like, and him, like Tyrese Maxey in the first half was getting whatever he wanted against the Pistons, and Jaden Ivey was guarding him for a lot of that. And to see Ivy in the second half completely take over, not only offensively, but really play some exceptional on-ball defense on Tyrese Maxey was so encouraging because that's the two-way Jaden they need on a consistent basis. And, to see him get up for a few dunks, yell, scream, energize his team, like, it's so fun, man. He's so fun. He is so improved. And I think, like, it's super exciting. I was saying on the post game live stream, I think you can now start to see Jaden Ivey as really being etching himself ever like so closer to Cade Cunningham in terms of being a franchise cornerstone player that you extend long term. He's still got to do it. Like we've seen Jaden Ivey have hot stretches before. I think I'm seeing a much different player. I think we're seeing an Ivy that's more controlled, better handle, just more the things he's doing feel more sustainable over a long period of time. The 3 point shot is helping, but the way he's attacking the rim and just making plays using his speed, it's exciting. So, uh, moving on to the next positive, I think Isaiah Stewart gets the game ball. I thought he was immense in this game. I think he had 7 points, double digit rebounds, 3 blocks, a steal, 3 assists. He was like perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line or 3 of 3. Like another guy where it just goes beyond the box score. Like his energy tonight and him just setting a tone defensively. Like Jalen Duren was in foul trouble this entire game. He fouled out with only playing like 10 minutes. No impact. So Isaiah Stewart had to play like 38 minutes and every minute he was out there, like he was making an impact. The Pistons, I think he had a game high plus 18 plus minus when on the court. And, this is why I love Isaiah Stewart. This is why he's my favorite player. This is why, whilst I'm happy to admit he's not a starting big, I understand that. I think if he can get back to shooting threes, imagine the guy you see tonight shooting threes. Is that not the most valuable backup big in the league? Like, look at the way he switched onto Tyrese Maxey. Even when Tyrese Maxey had it going in the first half, there was multiple instances where Tyrese got Stu on the switch, and it's like he forgot who Stu was, and he could not get by Stu. He actually couldn't. It was crazy. And you like anyone else that was sticking Tyrese Maxey in the first half, he was blowing by them. But Stu just the way he can slide like side to side is incredible for someone of his stature, really, like someone that big and strong. And yeah, game ball to Stu. Like, if you can't see the value in Isaiah Stewart in a game like tonight, then I don't know how to explain it to you. Because the box score was nice, but watch the game and like the physicality he brings is. I think this team needs it. They need guys like him bringing the energy and setting a tone. So, shout out to Stu, huge game for him, and hopefully one that can kickstart him. Like 7 points, still like off the bench, that's fine, but you want to see him doing a bit more offensively, but defensively, like wow, one of my favorite games from Stu. The other positive tonight was Tobias Harris. Rough first half, rough first half. The Philly fans were booing him from the jump. Like they were booing him the second the Pistons went out onto the court to shoot around before the game. Like ruthless. And I know that's just Philly, but it clearly got to Tobias in the first half. He was taking some tough contested turnaround post-ups which just weren't going. But the second half and particularly the fourth quarter, uh, he made himself available on fast breaks, had a really nice dunk in transition where it was going to be a wide open dunk, and then Cody Martin came out of nowhere and kind of bodied Tobias, but Tobias still finished it and won. Cade was loving it. Like, go check out my Twitter. You'll see the highlight there with Cade, like, G'ing up Tobias. But Tobias finished with 18 points, 14 rebounds, numerous key buckets in the fourth. I think him and Tim Hardaway Jr. combined for 18 of the Pistons, 20 in the last. And nice to just see the vets close it out and just help close it out because The Pistons were up by about 20, but the lead got back down to like 12, 10. But, good to see the vets all have an impact. Probably the first game that while each player kind of had down moments throughout the game, I thought Tobias, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Malik Beasley played the best all three of them have played in the game. I think they finished with just under 50 points between them. THJ shot the ball well again. Beasley was 3 of 10 from three, but I think he's just going to have nights like that. You want him shooting a ton of threes, and he makes one more and it's 40%. So 3 of 10 is fine with me. And I love the fact that Bees just has a quick trigger, never hesitates, because the defense is always so scared when he gets the ball because it's going up and it's a high percentage look. So good game from the vets, while even if they're a bit slow at the start, Tobias mainly. But I think that's gonna do it, guys. There's some more positives, but go watch the live stream. We kind of broke it all down. It went for 2 hours, but we spoke about everything. I'd love to hear your favorite moments from the game. And look once again. I know this is against a Philadelphia team they should have beaten, but they beat them and they were up by 20. And Philly. If we weren't all Pistons fans that had PTSD from watching this team choke away leads, you, if you're a neutral fan, you would watch that and think the Pistons were in control that whole second half. So they were impressive. Of course, there's some negatives, but I'm not going to touch on them. I think the main negative of the game I spoke about on a video yesterday, which you can go watch, to do with the big man and the rotation there. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll be in there replying to you all. Appreciate all the love and support. And as always, go Pistons.